We went back to where it all started for this one. You know, if there's nothing I love more, it is a live event. A time to really sit down face to face across from an interviewee, get those real-time emotions, get that real-time conversation, get that audience interaction, just get the aura and the ambiance of everything around you. So look, from episode 1 to now episode 230, man, I gotta give a big shout out to Jordon. Not only for really starting this podcast, really helping me get it off the ground and build a foundation, but really for choosing to return, really for everything that he's done in between then, which you're gonna hear a lot about in this episode, from the development to travel, to building a team and forming an LLC, to moving over into the legal side of things and really knowing and learning what it takes to build a business, run a business, keep that professionalism, and keep the people around you, keep growing, keep moving, keep striving, and keep thriving. Philadelphia, man, y'all turned me up for this one. I'm so happy. Down to Business is back. We never left, but took a little hiatus, had to get some things together, but here we are. So without further ado, enjoy episode 230, Old Stomping Grounds.
But nonetheless, like I said, so I started this back in 2019. It was really just trying to find a way to brand myself. And then since then, you know, we've been able to. This is now my 4th live event, first in Philly, so I'm excited for that. It's my city. We've done 3 in Charlotte, North Carolina. Actually, thanks to this young woman right in front of me, Saray. So how that kind of started was, Saray has an event planning company, Lux Chic and Company. I'm always plugging in. And so basically, I won a giveaway of hers, and she pretty much told me, you know, she would plan an event for me. So I told her, okay, so find me something Black-owned and basically podcast, you know, venues, not really venue specific, but I just want something where I could vibe out with the people. So she was able to find me something. We showed them a lot of love at the Taxi Tea Lounge in Charlotte. Jordon actually was my DJ for one of those events as well. And we really just made it happen. And so pretty much got a partnership with the Taxi Tea Lounge. They pretty much told me that, you know, we showed them a lot of love. They really enjoyed the turnout. And so we made it a thing. So I've done 3 there. I'm hoping to do the same here in Philly, whether it be at this venue continuously or just moving around. But that's what I want to do. The podcast now, we are on episode 214. So very excited for that. Very excited for a lot of what, you know, has happened. We relocated from Philly to Florida, from Florida to now Maryland. So it's been amazing. But nonetheless, I'm very, very, very happy to be here today. I kind of like where everybody is sitting, but if y'all want to move up, if you want to get closer, y'all can definitely do that. I'm not really a mic person, so I'm probably going to put this down once we start talking. Jordon is going to need a mic, though. He won't need a little bit, so we'll do that. But before we get started, there is just a shout out that I want to make, a tribute in a sense that I want to do to just a very special woman in my life, just somebody who has kept me grounded through it all, just somebody who, even when I've been job searching from November to March, even when on some dark days, even when, you know, things weren't maybe looking the best for me, this is just a woman who has never failed to be a light in my life, be a smile. I partied a little too hard in Vegas, and she made sure I got back to my hotel room safely. And she yoked me up as soon as we walked outside. She had me the whole way, so I'm very grateful for that. But just a woman who, you know, I've watched endure the loss of a husband, a grandfather, endure the loss of a daughter, my mother, and still just show up every day for everybody and be a light and be a resource and never let that smile leave her face and never let that love leave her face. So if my grandma, if she could just stand up and come up here, I definitely just want to give you the flowers while you're still here, because, you know, I wouldn't be who I am without you, and I love you for that. And I'm very grateful and I'm very appreciative. Thank you.
Thank you. What do you think?
And I'm not proud of the Vegas moment, but she made it happen for me again. So I thank y'all for that. So today's interview, so very excited to be sitting down with Jordon, basically somebody who I consider family. I've known him since I was 9 years old. Our families are families. If you've been following the podcast since I started, Jordon was actually my very first interview. So from episodes 1 to episode 65, it was all virtual. So it was all audio. So it was nothing that you could see. It was really just me talking in front of people and just editing some audio. From 66 on, we went live on video. So you started seeing virtual. We started doing live events in between. But Jordon was one of the very first people that, you know, I used to go over his house a lot during the summer. And I've watched now his basement become a studio. I've watched us kind of be put on from a DJ perspective. We have people in the entertainment industry, and we haven't really abandoned each other. So pretty much we were doing some talking, we were doing some chat. I was seeing what he was doing out here, him, King, Taylor, a couple of the other people, we DJ LLC, and I wanted to really just bring something to life. So Jordon, King, Taylor, they really put this together. They made this happen for me. And so I'm excited. So Jordon was somebody who, I was listening to even our first interview, and to really just see how everything has come together today. Until then, I've been amazed. So without further ado, I'm about to sit down. We're about to get down to business. And again, I just thank everybody for being here. I thank you for coming and for showing love. Let's get to it. What's going on? Happy birthday, too. Hey, Shane. All right. So do you want to just introduce yourself to the people? Do you kind of want to tell them a little bit about yourself, and then we'll just get into the interview?
All right. I'm not going to try to mumble like he said I was going to do. I'm going to try to talk clearly for everybody. Besides that, if you heard the first podcast, where it had took me on my path at that time. So we decided to come back, talk again. I have more stuff to talk about, and I just wanted to crack jokes at him the entire time. So.
Can y'all hear me without the mic? Is that okay?
Yeah.
Is everybody good? Y'all can hear me? Okay. So, all right. So we chatted, back in 2019, I guess I kind of want to just reflect on that a little bit. So for the people who do the mic.
Y'all want the mic. Here we go. All right. So for the people who really may not know you outside of that introduction that you gave, for the people who really may not have been following you from 2019, for those who are just now finding out that you're a DJ, when you listen to our previous episode, when you think about where you were in 2019, can we just reflect on that a little bit? What was going on for you? What was really in the DJ scene for you? Did you start as a DJ in 2019? Where really were you in your journey at that point?
All right, at that point, it was 2 years, me DJing. I wouldn't say I was that far into my career yet. I had a lot of things going on for me. I was working in pretty much most of the places in Philly, but it wasn't enough. And the reason I said that is, in that time, when you DJ, it takes a lot of time, for you as a person. So it's a lot of commitment, me going places, me having to prepare for a place, me having to drive somewhere that may not be the closest place. So I wanted to actually make something residual out of it. So back then, it was more focused on me just getting my name out there, me just taking opportunity like we talked about before. Again, anybody that ever has an opportunity in life, just take it. First try, even if you don't feel 100% comfortable, pressure, break pipes, or make diamonds. So those are 2 things that can happen in that situation. So I always take the most opportunities I can get.
Understood, most definitely. I definitely do think about, a lot of opportunities that have come my way with the podcast and just different things I've been able to do. So I feel you on that. So with building your rapport, with making things happen, with, like you said, getting your name out there, do you feel like, or what do you feel like was the breaking point for you? What do you feel like at a certain point you were just like, okay, I had it, like my aha moment in a sense? When do you really feel like you really started to kind of take off and really take things under your own control?
To be honest, it was on a flight coming back from Florida to Philly. I was going to Florida, not to DJ, it was for a family event, but I decided to go out. So I was out in Florida. I was actually hanging out with a couple of the DJs I know out there. And they was just showing me things that I didn't know how to do before. But then it was like one of those, like you said, aha moments. I was like, I understand it now. So when I came back home, I just took what I learned down there and implemented it here, and they didn't see that shit before. Oh, I apologize, I can't curse.
Well, you apologize to my grandmother.
Sorry, I'm so sorry, Grandma.
And Grandma, just to let you know, all my episodes when somebody curses, I always, I apologize because I don't curse on the podcast.
Yeah, I apologize. I'm sorry, Grandma.
Yeah, we're not having that today. She accepts your apology, though, so it's all good. All right, so understood. Now, when you think about DJing back then, do you feel like there were any stereotypes, generalizations that people would make? Because I feel like, now, I feel like going to school, going to college, going to grad school, kind of moving after that, I've met a host of different DJs. I've seen different party scenes. I've been in the South a lot of my life, a lot of my social life. So I feel like that was a different vibe back then. But do you feel like with becoming a DJ, there was kind of just anything that maybe myths that you had to debunk, maybe things that people kind of look at y'all in a certain light, and that's not really who y'all are as people?
I would say that in a corporate world, because when you first DJ, a lot of people don't do this. They don't just dive in DJing. A lot of times you're going to have a second job. You're going to have something that can bring you money because you're going to have to pay for all that DJ stuff you buy. So it was when I started DJing, and I actually, again, the mistake on my part, if you are doing things in the corporate world, it's just one of my things. I don't tell them anymore that I'm a DJ. Because the moment I mentioned that I was a DJ, like you said, stereotypes happen. It could be a day I came 5 minutes late, and their assumption I was out all night. If I look tired, I'm probably drunk. So it's just one of those things where you just want to avoid those type of stereotypes when it comes with it. Again, I'm tired because I'm probably up DJing, but it has nothing to do with any type of work ethic. Besides that, stereotypes DJs get negatively, there's a bunch of negative ones that we have, but only interactions through people will debunk that. I wouldn't want to say here positive things about us. There's a lot of things that we do, a lot of commitment that we have to not just us, to other people that helps.
Understood. And I definitely do. I feel like when corporate finds out about your outside world, or just that you are more than what they see on that 9 to 5 or that 8 to 5 window, they definitely do make a lot of generalizations and assumptions and things like that. So it's tough kind of keeping that work-life balance, especially as a business owner and an entrepreneur. But I'm so glad that you mentioned a second job, because I feel like a lot of times, there were a lot of people who came to me and thought I was a full-time podcaster. Like this was just what I did. I didn't have a 9 to 5, but I worked the job. Like since I started this, since moving to Tampa, now in Maryland, I have a job just the same. So can you also just shed some light on that? What is it like balancing because you're a business owner and an entrepreneur, you consider yourself, you have an LLC. So what is that like, really balancing what you do from a 9 to 5 perspective, but also still making sure that you contribute to your business owner as well, you contribute to yourself as a business owner and an entrepreneur just the same?
Okay, well, just to let everybody know now, besides DJing, I work at a chemical factory as a chemist. So I don't sleep that much, as from 4 to 12 is the one time I'm in the factory. But besides that, I try to balance it throughout the week, saying I work all week. During the weekends, I just submit myself to only DJing fewer events. That's why I said now I created a residual thing where I don't necessarily have to be there every time.
Got you. And I think that's important too, because something that I told myself, I found myself at certain points exhausting myself. I would work at 9 to 5 or 8 to 5, and then in some cases, my first interview would be at 5:15 or 6 o'clock or 6:15 or 7. And sometimes I was doing multiple interviews a day. So it was just like, I would get home, and then it would just be like, wow, I'm done. Like, you get home, you still want to kind of settle in, sit down, enjoy yourself, but you really can't. So that's hard just the same. So I do like the idea of balance, because that's important. I feel like as business owners and entrepreneurs, and something I told myself was, look, if I'm gonna punch the clock 8 to 5, 9 to 5, do that unwillingly every day, then I have to make sure that I'm putting in time for myself too, just the same in my brand and my business, because eventually my goals are to become a full-time podcaster, to wake up and really just do this. So I want to do a pop-up shop, or if I want to have an event, I want to be able to do that. I want to be able to travel and everything that comes with it. Now, for moving along in your journey, let's kind of fast forward a little bit. So 2019, you said you were 2 years in at that point. You were getting your name out. You were moving. So how did the formation of an LLC come in? How did you start to meet people like the DJs that you have now? How did you start to kind of be able to have it so that you don't necessarily have to show up everywhere, but business is still getting done?
All right. Well, first thing I'm gonna shout out Taylor. You actually standing over there. Right?
Shout out to Tay.
So it actually started with me just DJing, traveling a lot. It's a lonely thing, I'm not gonna lie. Just sitting in a car for an hour by yourself, go drive somewhere, then have to drive back in the middle of the night. It's lonely. My friend right there decided he'd actually come out, hang out with me. He was going to events with me, helping me set up, pack up, and I honestly was enjoying it. Then me and I actually had a conversation on the way home one time saying, we should take this more serious. And we had people who were actually interested in becoming DJs, and they always mentioned it to us. But again, I was always too busy. I didn't have time to delegate stuff like that. So that's where he came involved, and he actually became part of the delegation. Me and him would talk, and he would delegate to another one of our DJs so that they can actually go do something.
Okay, I feel that. So something that I also think about with kind of what you just said is like delegation. And delegation is not always something that's easy to do because as business owners, as entrepreneurs, we can tend to be perfectionists. I know that I am. I know, granted, I'm a one-man band. Like there's nobody that contributes anything to down the business from a audio, video, editing, social media perspective. Like I kind of handle all in-house operations. But I do want to get to the point where I can delegate that. I do want to get to the point where I build people, I hire people, I bring in a team and everything like that. But I also feel like, something I tell people all the time is that nobody's going to treat your baby like you. Nobody's going to put that tomorrow on it. Nobody's going to put that Jordon on it. Nobody's going to put that Taylor on it. So with delegation, with kind of bringing other people into your circle, what was that experience like? Did you have experiences where you maybe had bad business or you maybe just had to, set standards or different things like that? What was that for you?
Well, initially, like when we first started it, it was something I had to draw a line with because most of these people were my friends, or are still my friends. I'm not going to say use a word because that sounds crazy, but all these people are my friends. So it was one of those things that I had to separate like our friendship in this business because, like you said, at the end of the day, nobody's going to treat my business like the way I want to treat my business. So it was tough conversations, hard conversations that you had to have with individuals just so everybody could be on the same mission. Like that was the only thing we wanted to stress to everybody. That we wanted everybody to believe in what we were doing or what we were trying to do and just watch it build and hopefully they're there as it's building.
So you just mentioned the idea of belief and wanting people to kind of understand y'all stand, but understand what y'all trying to put on it. So from what you have formed, from what you're working towards, from what you were Taylor and do, for what you were Taylor are doing, what are you trying to do? What are you trying to accomplish essentially? Is this a thing where it's a Philly message? Is this like a global message, an international message? What should people who are in here today or people who are hearing this interview, what should they take away from the impact that y'all are trying to make?
The impact that we're trying to make is we want to give all our DJs the best opportunity they can have. It's not just about me. It's not just me wanting to be the best person I want to be. It's about putting everybody in that situation. What we wanted to stress, especially the people on here, if you ever are looking for an event, I know a DJ, if not myself, that can possibly do it for you. And that is very true. After we're done, you're going to hear all of us DJ. You actually don't have time to listen, party, and whatnot. But vision-wise, I would love for it to be cool. That's anybody's ambition to have something that's all around the world. But understand that you got to start small first.
So you basically only took this event, promote yourself and my event to other people.
Kinda. I was messing with you.
I respect it though. But I get that. I definitely think that DJing may not be for everybody. And it's not, but I feel that way about business ownership. Everybody there, while I feel like anybody can be a business owner, it's not for everybody. You know what I mean? Like I have no shame in a 9 to 5 and 8 to 5 as the people who are in that corporate run. I have no problem with entrepreneurs. I have no problem with people. Everybody I feel like fits their own mold, and I think that that's important as well. But I do think, and I do love the opportunity that y'all are giving to creatives. I'm big on that. I feel like creative expression is something where it's really hard to get your start, whether it be with art, whether it be with music, entertainment, anything of the sort like that. Like it's something where you have to be very unique and people have to kind of adopt that. Like people have to love that. It's not easy to be a host. It's not easy to entertain. It's not easy to DJ. I used to want to be a DJ in college, but because of the time and some things, I just didn't do it. But I still love music to this day. I still, go to different places, get different vibes and everything of the sort like that. So I love kind of what y'all are doing. I love the formation of what y'all are bringing because as you said, it is really making a long lasting impact. It is really taking somebody that may have been somewhere and you're putting them in different environments. You're exposing them to new places because y'all travel. Y'all move around. As I say, you've done an event for me in Charlotte. I see you in New York, Houston, different things like that. So you guys are definitely moving around and definitely making that. So when it comes to being a business owner, being an entrepreneur, having, to control something, what would you say has been your biggest learning curve? It's not something that, when we grew up, our parents were very much, 9 to 5s. Our parents worked, to the games, they did everything like that. You know, it was pretty much a very strict schedule. They weren't really doing much extracurricularly. So I feel like our generation really became those ones to take that stand. So if we're not happy somewhere, to just not put 20, 30 years in a place, to move around, to do what we want to do for us. But I feel like that's something that's not necessarily frowned upon, but it's just looked at differently because of the standard. So for you, what was that realization? What was it as becoming a business owner? What were some things that you kind of just had to learn or adopt to or adjust to be where you are today?
I had to learn not to let doubt stare my judgment. And it's not even my doubt, it's doubt from others. Because a lot of times when people make these businesses and it's your dream, your aspiration, it might not be somebody else's that's close to you. So if, for instance, I love her death, my mother, she did not want me to be a DJ at all. I could agree with her in some sense because I was in school for business. I was doing good in school, but it ended up taking off while I was in school, and it was a great opportunity that was brought to me, and I just went with it. Then it was just hearing the doubt from her at first. It was kind of like, hey, I don't think you should do this. You've been wasted this amount of years in school, and you should at least go this path because that's what you wanted to do when you first walked in that school. And I wouldn't agree with her now at this point. I'm loving what I do. I have a bunch of friends around me that's doing great. It's more me seeing other people making more than me right now as a DJ, and that's making me excited.
I feel like that's one of the toughest things to navigate. You know, people who we look to for judgment, people who we look to and respect those opinions, and we hold what they say as like, you know, to be bona fide. But it's also still differentiating and saying, hey, well, I want this for Jordon. I want this for me. I want, you know, this may not be kind of the path you've taken, but I love what I do, as you said, and you look back at it now and you have no regrets about it, and you would do it 10 times over. So I think that that's important, but I also have to commend you for that because that's not something that's easy. You know, as someone who's lost my mother, but my mom was, you know, I valued everything she said, you know, right, wrong, or indifferent. So it was just like, you know, Mom do. So it's just like they're always there to support you, but they also do have their own opinions and judgments just the same, and they also do have their own way of doing things just the same. So that's tough, bro. But at the same time, you know, to stand on that, to still be about business and to still do what you're doing now, I'm sure that it was never a thing of she was never gonna accept you or not support you.
No, I wouldn't say that at all.
Right.
100%. I can't not disclaim that she's the one that helped me get my original equipment.
I believe it.
And when I say doubt, I'm saying that as in once she saw me about to take it serious. Because at first it was a hobby that I wanted to pick up, that she knew I wanted to pick up, and we both assumed it as a hobby that just ended up flourishing, and now it became more serious, and that's when me and her had the hard conversations.
I love that, and I was talking to Mom yesterday, so it's just like it's to see, you know, I can definitely tell that she is beyond proud of what you're doing, but I think that it also just takes you realizing too that you want this, you know, because hearing from other people that it may not work out, and especially for how you respect them, how you see them, that could definitely sway your judgment, and it could definitely sway a lot of the decisions that you make to move forward with that. So with where you are now, out of everything that you've done, and it may really be hard to quantify this or to be very specific with it, what has been like one of your favorite things, like one of your most memorable things, like whether it be an event, whether it be a testimonial that you got experience, somebody that you met, what's something that you look back on now and you're truly proud of? Happy birthday.
Happy birthday. Whoever walked in.
It's your birthday?
My birthday too.
Happy birthday.
Happy birthday. But that was a great question. But to sum up, I wouldn't even want to say something that gave me gratification. Something that just made me happy, and it still does to this day, is the days where I link up with my entire team and we just prepare, practice, just because those interactions between all of us is what's keeping us centered. It's just one of those things where we can see if somebody's having a bad week. It's one of those things where since we're all friends, we can have those open conversations and be truthfully and bluntly honest with each other sometimes, and it wouldn't affect nothing. So I just like those days, to be honest. Everything else that happens is great. I love all the other stuff, but something that I will never forget is just those days.
And to give y'all just some insight too about kind of me and Jordan's history. So obviously I told y'all that I recorded my very first podcast interview with Jordon, but I actually used to record my podcast episodes at Jordan's house in his basement. So, and one day I literally came because Jordon would still be on the game on the Xbox. And sometimes I would have to come out like, yo, you being too loud, right? Like I had to tell you in his own house. Like I had to tell him to chill. Like, bro, I'm recording it here. Like, calm down. Like he had a very back room. And one day I remember coming out and I was joking because, you know, we have mutual friends, family of his that, you know, are music artists that DJ, that host, that do different things like that. So one day I really just came out and I said, bro, why don't we just turn this into a studio? And he was like, I mean, why not? But we were just talking at that point. And I remember moving to Florida. And then I remember getting a FaceTime call one day. And they were constructing, oh, you coming? Yeah. And I remember getting a FaceTime call one day and they were literally constructing a studio. And then I remember coming back home to Philly and the studio was built. And I got mad because they built it after I left. And I was just recording in some cement walls, which was cool. But I was very proud of that moment. And I tell him that all the time that, you know, it was just like what really started as a joke and just kind of us just spitballing the conversation really turned into a reality. And we've been able to provide opportunity for people. They've been able to make music there. We've been able to, as he said, practice and prep. He's been able to build a team. So I just think that that's beautiful. But I love to know me is to know that like I love to keep things in house. Like I'm very much a believer and a supporter of any and anybody who's doing great things. But my giveaways today, they're all Black-owned businesses. They're all people who I know, who I've had conversations with. The people in this room, like they are people who I know and have had personal relationships, fraternity brothers, everything like that. So it's just like, you know, I love my circle. And I love to just do anything that I can to make sure that everybody in my circle is eating in some form or fashion. Whether I reap the benefits from that or not, I don't really care. I did care about the studio. I was a little mad about that.
You can still use it.
Yeah, I know, but I'm not here anymore. But I was just proud to see that it was opportunity. And it was something that he really took on as his own and he had to manage. You know, it was a project where you had to have difficult conversations. You had to have, and that's not, you know, being friends. And me and Jordon have had some gripes. We've had some gripes. But at the end of the day, I know that we've always had our best interests in mind. He knows that it's nothing but love from my side. My delivery may not always show that, but it's always love from me. You know, I'm just very passionate about what it is that I do and who's around because I want nothing but the best for everybody. As I said, I have a woman who I met in school who planned events for me. And I'll do anything I can to plug her events in. I'll do anything I can to support my fraternity brothers. My dog from high school is in here. He's modeling now. It's just like, you know, it's beautiful to just see everybody in their own regard doing things. And I'm always going to be a supporter of it. That is literally why I started this podcast. You know, going to school, you couldn't tell me I wasn't going to be the next Stephen A. or Shannon Sharp. They kind of wilding now. So it's just like, I'm glad I took the route that I did, but I'm glad that, you know, I didn't really realize until year 3 why I started this podcast, what was really the mission behind it. I was living through my mother, and my mom was somebody who, you know, at her funeral, I really realized the impact that she had for how young she was. And for people just walking up to me and just telling me the impact that she made in her life, who she was, how they knew my whole life story. And I had never met this person a day in my life. My mom would put you in rooms that you didn't even know you were in. My mom would talk about you in any regard, but she built those relationships, that rapport, even the same with my grandfather, you know. So to really be able to support people in any regard, that's who I am and that's what I want to do. So to really see you doing that now from that perspective, that's amazing. Now, we DJ LLC. You formulated that, you manage that, you delegate for that, you do whatever you want to do with that. What's next for y'all though? You know, I see that, you know, even this weekend, I see that y'all have a slate of different events. Y'all are in different places. I was talking to Keem outside kind of about his journey and everything that he has going on, and still, even with the blessings and everything that's going on, you know, y'all still do have just different things in the mix, bumps in the roads and everything like that. But from the outside looking in, for people who really don't know about y'all, but are now wanting to tap in and tune in, what can they expect to see? Taylor, you playing around on
That wasn't us, right?
No,
Oh, I just wanted to make sure.
playing around.
We DJ LLC. First of all, shout out to Keem, because without Keem, we wouldn't even be in here right now. Shout out to me. But we DJ LLC, for us, right now, all we want to do is just grow. Like, I understand the LLC part of it hasn't been there for as long as all of our DJs. But what we want to do is get other DJs involved. Because just from us doing what we're doing now, I get contacted by a bunch of different DJs every other weekend trying to work with us now. But the issue we run into now is just finding more and more places. So now when we find more and more places, we ended up falling to another issue where we didn't have enough DJs. So now we're just trying to find our balance, which we kind of found in the last couple of weeks. You didn't heard plenty of stories over the phone with everybody, plenty of arguments, but I want debates, not arguments.
Debates.
But either way, just for right now, we just want to grow, teach people how to DJ. It's not you have to be a DJ to actually do this stuff. A lot of people are learning from the ground up to do this.
I don't know what that was about.
Wait, what happened?
I don't know. She look a little overwhelmed, but
All right, wait. Seriousness?
yeah, but yeah, come on in. Please. But no, I love to just hear that. I love to see that. You know, I think that anytime that you can put people on, put people in position, I think that's important. But it's really a good feeling. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's really just, even now when I connect business owners, when I connect entrepreneurs, to see even two of my friends now, Saray and Ann, like, I don't know if I was the reason for that connection, but they said I was. I think they just hyped me. But, you know, I love just seeing things like that. Like I said, like, I love just connecting pieces to the puzzle that otherwise might have been unconnected or untold or untouched. And that's really the podcast. You know, I'm telling those stories that otherwise may have been untold, because I'm a firm believer that everybody should be a household name, that everything should be on the map, that if you're doing good work, it deserves to be broadcasted, it deserves to be heard about. So I want to be able to do that by any means. So for the people, for even people listening, for even people who are here this episode, for aspiring DJs, what is a piece of advice that you could give? You know, even to people like myself, because as I said, I wanted to be a DJ, but I kind of I let some things happen. I'll blame the bros for a lot of the reason as to why I'm not a DJ, but that's another conversation. But for people who like entertainment, you know, what a fraternity. But for people who are listening to that, hearing that, want to be in that in some regard, for people who may come across this episode at some point, what advice do you have for those wanting to get into the entertainment industry, for what comes with it, for what you know, for what you've experienced?
All right, before I told everybody, I said earlier, to take that every opportunity you get. That is definitely true. Like, I'm not saying that's not a thing. You take every opportunity. The opportunity is what creates more opportunities, and that opportunity might end up being the right opportunity. But besides that, something for people that's inspiring, music industry, DJs, it's getting better now in terms of people collaborating. I say just connect with everybody that's inside of your field. When you connect with people that's in your field, they end up showing you the other door that you can go through and the other opportunities that you may be able to see. And once you see those opportunities, you get blessed with more opportunities. And that's really much how this industry works. It's about being in the right room at the right time, to be honest with you.
Okay, love that. For the people in here, I'm not going to tell them that they have to support you. I would love them to, though. But y'all do whatever y'all want to do. How can they support you? How can they contribute to We DJ LLC? What can they do to make sure that you, Keem, Taylor, are always operating to the best of your abilities?
Well, something anybody can do. When this is over, I'm going to yell out Instagram tags just for the company and for myself as well. Then besides that, I'm going to have that gentleman, Tay, at one point just go around and talk to everybody. So don't be surprised when he walks up to your table just to hold a small conversation, just to get to know who you are, where you're from, and how we might be able to help you or somebody you know.
We're not going to lock the doors and make y'all give $40K, but we do appreciate all.
You can make that announcement though.
What, your Cash App?
Oh no! We have a special one.
We're we're not collecting any money here today, folks. Unless you want to donate, the podcast is always accepting donations. But we, to be in this room today, I take it as, I don't just take it as you didn't have anything better to do, but maybe you did. But I take it as, you really wanted to support that I can look at almost everybody in here, pretty much everybody in here, and at some point, whether you've been on the podcast or sent me a message about the podcast or been to an event or followed the podcast or whatever, you supported me in some regard. And I don't take any of that for granted. I don't take any of that lightly because essentially you don't have to. So for me, it means the world, to be honest. I love feedback and I'm very critical about all of that. How you doing? Now you good? Welcome. But I just love the idea that we can all just be here for each other. We can all just be a resource. We can all just have fun. We can all get to know people. There's some very familiar faces in here. But I encourage everybody to meet somebody new today, to talk to somebody. You never know what the next person can do, what they're involved in, how they can help. It's a lot of experience in here. Resumes are stacked in here. And it's a lot of money in here. So like I said, we are taking donations, but as I said, I don't take any of this for granted. I don't take any of this lightly. As I said, I hope to continue to do events here. I hope to continue to move around the city. I hope to continue to be impactful as we can. So, Jordon.
Yes.
What are you, as I wouldn't really say we're at the beginning of the year, but March is still here in a sense. When this episode probably airs, we'll very much probably be in the summer. That's just how backed up I am. But for the people listening, for the people that's out there wanting to tap in, wanting to tune in, what's next for y'all? What are you excited about for the year? Do you have any big events for 2025 that people can kind of put on their radar, put on their calendar? Ramadan is almost over, so the folks are about to be back outside, I feel like. So man, shout out to all my fasting Muslims during Ramadan as well. I'm definitely keeping y'all in prayer, and I'm definitely proud of y'all for doing so and still showing love. But what can people expect? What are you most excited about for the year?
Well, to be honest, besides all the traveling stuff, in the beginning of August, we're going to be in Houston. Later in May, we're going to be in Miami. I don't know why I went backwards. In July, we're going to be in Philadelphia. There's a bunch of things going on in Philadelphia in terms of summer events and whatnot. Just be on the radar for it. If we ever just post it on our page or anything, we're posting it for a reason. It's going to be a good time.
Absolutely. For people listening to this interview, for people in here right now, what's something that they probably may not know about you, they may not know about the business, the brand, anything of the sort you can share, whatever. What's something that they may just not know about you from us just sitting down and having a conversation right now?
The reason I started this entire thing, me and you were talking about it earlier. I mentioned it in your first podcast, but like you said before, everybody might not be here. That might be something they want to know, like why I started all this. All I wanted to do was throw a birthday party. I had a great birthday party, ready to happen. Everything was good. Day of the event, the DJ never came. I had about 300 to 500 people standing outside just waiting for music that never came. And I had to explain to 300 to 500 people why we could not have a party. And again, it was on my birthday, so it even felt worse. Then from that moment, I just said I wanted a DJ and I'm not gonna ever let that happen again. Then opportunities granted itself, like I was telling you, and yeah.
Did you invite me to that birthday party?
Yes. I invited you to every birthday party.
Glad I didn't go. Our birthdays are very close, by the way, a couple weeks apart. So we always try to do something, but it never works because Jordon is very last minute.
No, I'm not.
I told you I was going to throw some shit. I got to go with shit. So that's real though. I can't really say that I didn't, as I said, I didn't really realize why I started this podcast. I knew that I wanted to talk to people and I knew that I wanted people's stories to be told, but I didn't really realize that one of my biggest things is like, just wanted support, just wanted to be there for people, just taking things like that very seriously. So it's so interesting over my 214 episodes to really hear people's mantras or to hear their whys behind things and to hear that, sometimes it starts from a problem or sometimes it starts from something that you don't want to do or whatever the case may be. Now, for everybody that's out there right now, whether they're listening live, whether they're on the Instagram live, whether they're tapping into this episode at a later date, where can they find you? How can they support you? Where can, I feel like everybody in here has Instagram. have social media, websites, everything like that, what can we do to follow you?
All right, first thing you can do, you can follow our DJ page. We just started it up again.
Everybody pull out your phones.
Yeah, there's the opportunity to pull out your phone.
Go to that Instagram.
Instagram, and you're gonna see. I'm gonna give you 2 pages, and from those pages, you can see mostly all of our events and contact any of our DJs and not myself. First page is WeDJ_LLC. Easy.
Say it again.
WeDJ_LLC. Now the second one is gonna be a little bit longer. I was everybody be ready for that, right? So let me know when y'all got the first one. Put your thumb up if everybody really followed or they just looked at their phone.
I'm checking to see if y'all followed afterwards as well.
Oh, I'm checking right now. What you talking about?
Yeah, Taylor got it on his phone, so we will know.
The second one is my personal page. It's my DJ page. DJ_Juicy_J. 2 Y's. See, look, her face right there. She's like, slow down for a second. Just 1 second.
2 Y's is crazy.
2 Y's.
Talk to him. Talk to him.
They said please repeat that.
DJ_Juicy_J. 2 Y's. Jayy.
Is the double Y in juicy or J?
It's a J. That's a valid question.
That was a valid question.
Can we talk about your DJ name? How did you come up with that?
Honestly, I didn't come up with it. That was
Somebody else named you that.
sound crazy to say that, but yeah, it sound crazy to say that. But the person that actually gave me the name were the people that actually helped me get a bunch of my first opportunities. So at the time, it took off, but after all these obligations with the Diddy stuff and all that stuff, it sounds crazy, but it's something that you really can't change at the point I'm at right now.
Yeah. We listen and we don't judge. That's
Yeah.
all right. That's all right. So,
Honestly,
to everybody that is out there, to everybody that showed up, that has tapped in, that has sent me, love, support, everything like that, I thank you. I appreciate you. To everybody that's in the building today, I'm gonna come around and thank all of y'all individually. I feel like I have, probably tired of seeing me, but I'm gonna do it again. But just thank y'all for being here. I was very excited for this to happen. I woke up this morning and, everybody was just asking how I was doing. I was just like, nothing is gonna steal my joy today. Nothing is gonna steal my shine. The surprises, just the vibe, just everything that's here is just, it really felt good today. It really felt good to be able to be here and enjoy that. So I thank y'all so much for coming out, Jordon. I really thank you for being a part of this and just making this happen from episode 1 to, this will probably be like episode like 240 or 250, somewhere in between there. So I'm excited for that. And I just, I'm very much appreciative. Shout out to my brothers. But I am, I'm happy. I thank y'all. I'll definitely let, Jordon, do you feel like, before I officially close out, do you feel like, there's anything that we haven't touched on, we haven't talked about, or anything, even some last words or some last gems that you want to leave for the people today?
not necessarily for me. I just want to give this opportunity to give you your flowers. And like you said, you've seen me do this from the ground up. I've watched you inspire this for a while in your life without you even knowing. You have been through a lot of things in your life, and a lot of us are all watching. You have always had support of all of us. And no matter what you do from here on, and what you did in the past, or what you're going to do in the future, you will always have our support. That's the last thing I'll leave off of.
I appreciate that. So, to all the beautiful people out there, to the bros, to everybody who is here, I thank y'all so much. I appreciate y'all for being a part of this. This has been the first live event in Philadelphia. This will certainly not be the last, but this has been another episode of the Down to Business podcast. Here with Tamar Turner.